I'm Manogna Shastry. I have a Master of Science degree from Indian Institute of Astrophysics in theoretical physics. I heard about this course through my friend Shamala and Southern Urbanism at IHS. So I was curious firstly about the concept of urbanism itself, because just as an average citizen and as a participant in the economy, I've read so much about these terms, and I've followed Friedman's work, for example, just as an interested person. So I wanted a kind of a framework in which all of these terms and all of these forces made a lot more sense to me. And that is what I think, that's the biggest takeaway for me from this course today. There's a very, the framework itself has a lot of layers, it has a lot of depth right now than what it had before. So that's the biggest takeaway from this course. Because I don't have a background in this thing itself, for me, just the way structurally he presented the ideas, how conventionally you study the conventional studies in this particular domain, and what are the newer challenges that it posed. So it gave me, as a layman, a very rich outlook in the whole domain. I'm able to see what are the questions the domain is asking. I'm able to see what were the existing answers, how they don't fit our scenario. I mean, coming from a place which fits into the southern urban city model, how the questions that were asked in the older framework don't make any sense to me, whereas the newer questions and newer answers that are being generated, they feel like they're in my language. And I'm beginning to ask, why can't these same questions be asked in those places as well? So that way, I enjoyed the entire structure of it. I think, as speaking as an outsider, I enjoyed the pedagogy of the whole thing. It enabled me. Actually, it was the ideal time. I mean, the 3 hours, the way it was constructed, it was perfect. I mean, it was very good, even though it is termed as the intermediate sort of advanced level course. And considering I do have a little bit of background, in the sense I have read quite a few of the names were familiar, and I've read it without a complete understanding of the jargon. I think the structure was ideal. 3 hours, more such masterclasses would be perfect, actually, leading even in depth into the domain. I think the thing about this was, it was more of a meta-level course, if I'm able to make sense, in the sense each of these subtopics that he was talking about, whether it is the older model or whether it is some of the newer questions that have come up, they all have potential to be converted into masterclasses. So I think for me personally, that would be fantastic if it could be followed up with each of them being taken out into a masterclass. Because I could see that he was giving a meta picture of it. It was fantastic that way. So if individually, they all have potential. They all have potential, each of those concepts.